Alright guys, we have come to the last subtopic in chapter 3, that is type 1 and type 2 errors. What is errors? Mistake, kesalahan. Error that can be happen when you make a decision. Sometimes when we make decision, we can make error. Sometimes there's no error. So what is the type of error that can be happen when we make a decision? Okay, a type 1 error is an error of rejecting the null hypothesis when it is true. Okay, so you have the hypothesis, null hypothesis. Then your null hypothesis is true, but you reject it. This is a type 1 error. Okay, and denoted by alpha. Probability of type 1 error is equals to alpha. Okay, next, a type 2 error is an error of failing to reject null hypothesis when it is false. Okay, when you have H null and your H null is false, but you not reject it, but you accept the H null, it is error type 2. So the probability type 2 error is denoted by beta. Okay, this one, when your H null is true, but you reject the H null, you have made a type 1 error. When your H null is true, but you accept the true, so you make a correct decision. So you have H null and then H null is false, and then you reject the H nulls, you reject the false. So correct, it is a no error. You have H null, but H null is false, and then you accept the false, you have made a type 2 error. Okay, like this. Type 1 error. Okay, you have H null. H null is true, but you reject this true. You reject this true H null. What will happen to this H null? H null will be very sad because he is true, but you reject him. Okay, so type 2 error is you have H null and then H null is false. What will happen is you accept the false, you accept the H null. So this H null is false, but you accept his false. What will happen to the H null? H null will be very happy because you accept the false. Right? So this is the type 1 and type 2 error. So for example, in this example, possible outcome of a jury trial. Okay, when a jury want to make a decision in a court. Okay, so let's look at the type of error that have been made by the jury. Number 1, if the defendant is convicted. What is convicted? Declare guilty. Okay, the jury said that he is convicted. He is declared guilty. But she did not commit the crime. Okay, she did not commit the crime. She did not do the murder, but the jury said he did the murder. Then the type 1 error had been made by the jury. He is declared guilty, but she did not actually commit the crime. So the jury had made the type 1 error. When the H null is true, he is innocent, but the jury cannot accept that he is innocent. Okay, number 2, if the defendant is convicted, then he or she has committed the crime. So it is correct. Okay, he did the murder, and then the jury said he is convicted. He is guilty. So the jury has made a correct decision. Right. Number 3, if the defendant is acquitted. What is acquitted? Declared not guilty by the jury. Okay, the defendant is declared not guilty by the jury, and actually she did not commit the crime pun. So the jury made a correct decision. She did not commit the crime, and then she did not guilty. Okay, number 4, if the defendant is declared not guilty, but actually she did commit the crime, then the type 2 error has been made by the jury because the jury declared the person not guilty sedangkan dia bersalah. salah. So this is the example of the type 1 and type 2 error. Type 1 error, that person is innocent but you reject it. Type 2 error, that person is false, that person is guilty but you that person is not guilty but you accept it. Okay, so this is a type 1 and type 2 error. This one is a significance of a significant level, the alpha. The significant level is the maximum probability of committing a type 1 error denoted by alpha. So alpha is actually the type 1 error. So look at here, rule of thumb using significant level. If the alpha is not given, use standard value alpha 0.05. Okay, statistician usually agree on using three significant levels 0.01, 0.05, 0.1. But please look at the equation. If alpha is not given, alpha is 0.05. Okay, so these are this example of the type 1 error. Right, an additive is added to car batteries in a sample to test whether it will increase the lifetime of the batteries or not. Identify the type of error involved in each of the following situation and state the reason. Okay, the additive is not significantly increase the lifetime of car batteries in the population. However, the result by a sample of car battery added with additive shows that the additive increases. In this test, p-value is lower than the given significant level. So the type of error here is type 1 error. Why? Okay, the H null here not significantly increase. So the additive does not increase. Okay, this is the H null. And the alternative, it is increase. Okay, the p-value is lower than the given significant level. So alpha is 0.05. P-value is less than. So you reject the H null. So the p-value is less than alpha 0.05. You reject H null. Okay, you reject this H null. Sedangkan this H null is true. Right? But you reject this H null. So what will happen? You have made a type 1 error where H1 is true but you reject the H null. Okay, example 3.5. The additive was used to be in the general population of batteries, which is significantly increase their lifetime. So increase their lifetime. Increase is H1. Increase the lifetime. So H null is does not increase. Based on the sample of car battery which use the additive, the p-value shows result of 0.1. So p-value is 0.1. Okay, so alpha is 0.01. So if you look at here, p-value is greater than alpha. So we accept H null. Okay, we accept H null. So H null is actually false. But you accept the H null. So you have made a type 2 error. So exercise 3.10. In the population, there is no difference between men and women on a certain test. So no different. No different is equal. So H null is no different. No difference between men and women. So the H1 is there is a difference. Okay, however, Amina found a difference in her collected sample. The p-value for the data was, okay, p-value is equals to 0.03. So Amina decided that the hypothesis is rejected at 5% significant level. So alpha is 0.05. Since the p-value is less than alpha 0.05, it is reject H null. So he reject this H null. Sedangkan this H null is true. So Amina has do the type 1 error because H null is true. But Amina reject the H null. So she has do a type 1 error. So B here you can try. The answer is type 2 error. Okay, this is the mind expanding exercise. You can try by your own the mind expanding exercise. Okay, that's all for your chapter 3. Next, we will have chapter 4, analysis of variance. Thank you, guys.